Hello and welcome to Innovia Conversation. I'm Steve Waltz.
And I'm Jeff Podolsky. And Steve, it looks like we've got a podcast party going on here today. Who are all these people that have joined us?
Well, we got our friends from Versapay. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Hello, welcome.
Hi,
Thank you
great
for
to be
having
here.
us.
So we're excited to have you. Jeff took planes, trains, and automobiles to get back from his vacation just in time for the podcast.
Exactly. Yes, I could not miss it. So Steve, Versapay, like why are they here? What's going on? Who are they?
Well, I tell you what, so we've had our long-term friend Meredith with Versapay, and maybe she can introduce her and her team.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having us. We're really excited to be here. I've listened to the podcast many a time. This is a long-time listener, first-time presenter, I guess. So really happy to be here. As you said, I'm Meredith. I am a senior product manager here at Versapay, and I've been with Versapay for about 5 years. And I'm so excited to have with me Tim Stahl. Tim is our senior vice president for sales here at Versapay. Welcome, Tim. Hello.
Hey, hi guys. I've been here about a year myself, started last January, and we've had quite a growth year. It's been very exciting. We're excited to share everything that's been going on with our company and help your listeners understand how we can all partner and work together.
Great. So tell us about Versapay. What is Versapay?
You want to go, Tim?
Go get them, Meredith.
Okay. So Versapay is we do a lot of things. We are a company that is focused on helping other businesses manage their AR processes. So we do everything on accounts receivable to help streamline those processes, allow our customers to accept payments across a variety of different sales channels, and really manage and engage with their customers throughout the AR process, so that the end users, the paying customers, can easily know and understand, what they have to pay, can collaborate online together with their vendors to ask questions, to make payments, to deal with disputes. We've focused so much on all of the challenges and things that come up when we have different companies working together through this process and trying to eliminate those roadblocks and make it as easy as possible for customers to make payments and for business to receive those payments, and streamline everything through their ERP. So it's complicated business. It's hard to summarize Versapay in just one sentence. And I don't know, Tim, if you have a better kind of elevator pitch, but I think that from 50,000 feet, that's a little bit, a high level of what we do.
Yep, absolutely. Our goal is to accelerate cash flow in business-to-business payments specifically, and there's tension on both sides of that transaction. There are hard things in an accounts receivable process. There are hard things in an accounts payable process, and our platform really collapses those two processes into one collaborative process on our Versapay platform, takes a bunch of the friction out of it, and allows people to pay quicker and get their cash faster.
Nice. So how would that work with Business Central then?
That's a great question. So we have built our embedded solution. If you've known ChargeLogic, in the channel for a long time, we have been, I'd say, the number one payment application for Business Central for many years now. And now, as part of the Versapay kind of company, we've taken that payment application and built within it a robust connector tool to the Versapay AR cloud, the AR automation cloud. So we've taken all of that business logic that we already have inside of Business Central and connected it to the cloud. So now customers and invoices and payments are seamlessly flowing back and forth between the AR cloud experience and your Business Central ERP. So we've known, and what has been kind of the cornerstone for ChargeLogic for so long, is that we're trying to reduce manual processes, make the ERP really the central focus of all of the AR activities, so that we don't have people having to manual input or import and export payments. So we're still operating on all of those principles. We're really just taking what we've had, this payment application that's been embedded in Business Central, and expanding it and adding to those services offered to those customers to be able to take advantage of some of these higher level automation tools, to especially for companies who are issuing large quantities of invoices every year, or every month, I should say. Those processes can get quite complex. So our tools really help to streamline that. And like Tim said, bring the AP and the AR folks kind of into one place to reduce that friction and give them some place that we're all operating, kind of speaking the same language together, making that process a lot more efficient, and giving the end users, those accounts payable folks, a much better customer experience. Anyway, we can dive more into that, but that kind of speaks to how things are working specifically in the Business Central space.
Nice. Jeff, one more question for me. So with NAV, so we have a pretty broad customer base. Jeff, what do you think about maybe 30% on Business Central now?
Yep, I would say continuing to grow, but that's probably accurate.
Right, because in 18, when they did the last version of NAV, and now Business Central, a lot more cloud, right? Microsoft's going cloud first, mobile first. So does it work the same way with NAV, or is that a little bit different?
Yeah, I mean, we're still supporting NAV versions. I think all the way back to, I think at this point, 2017 is still actively being supported. We do have some occasions where we have new customers coming online on slightly older versions, maybe 2016, that we can still support as well. So we're following within, Microsoft's lifecycle, support policies, and we're continuing to, support that same model. And we go through a rather arduous process of backporting all of our latest enhancements back to older Business Central versions and older NAV versions as well. It is a huge investment for our team. Just to be quite frank with you, we have developers who are, devoted to backporting this process, but we recognize how important it is, especially in the NAV and Business Central space, to be able to still support those existing customers who might have migration plans on the path or down the road, but aren't there yet. And we want to make sure that they're able to take advantage of, all of the tools that we have available to start, addressing some of the headaches that we're hearing from customers over and over again about the AR processes, problems that they're having, and try to solve those. So absolutely, sure, we'd love to see everybody on the cloud when we can get them all there, right? But we know that doesn't happen overnight, and there's a lot of complex business that goes into getting somebody from an older version to the SaaS platform.
All right, so I'm going to jump in, Stephen, without getting too technical. So how does Versapay speed up the collection process and automate that? Is it like sending out batch statements with click to pay links on them, or what sort of technology do you use, and how does it help your customers?
Yeah, so I'll take that one, Meredith. So we really solve a variety of jobs, and the jobs become more complex depending on the complexity of it and size of the business. So the simplest answer there, Jeff, is embedded within the ERP. If somebody just wants to accept a credit card over a phone, we can give them the ability to do that inside the ERP. If they want to, then the next level of complexity is send out an invoice with a click to pay link inside of it, right? We can do that. The next level of complexity is to provide some sort of customer portal where your customers can come in and see all the things that they owe and their credits and some history behind what they owe you. That's beyond that, we start to get into larger scale automation tools. And this is really the Versapay platform, where there is a whole presentment and automation platform for the supplier, and lots and lots of tools for their customers to streamline their AR processes. Lots of notifications, lots of ability to collaborate between companies in a space. If you think about an ERP is kind of the system of record. The Versapay network is really a system of engagement. We have about 700,000 businesses paying each other and collaborating around their AR processes in that platform. Today, our goal is to get over 1 million businesses working with each other on our platform by the middle of next year.
Wow. Well, that is that sounds like a really
big
interesting
number.
challenge.
Big number.
It is a big number.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to add on to just what Tim was saying in that, the ERP we view as, like you said, the system of record, and so important to keep up to date, but it's not something that we give access to our customers, right? So we see all of those open invoices. We know what's outstanding. We can get, that information about their accounts. But if we're mailing invoices or even emailing invoices, sometimes it gets lost, gets sent to the wrong person, get put in the wrong hands. And quickly that visibility kind of, disappears. And so one of the nice things about what the AR automation portal and giving a customer portal is that you're almost giving that insight. You're kind of putting a little window into your ERP and saying, here's everything that we see. This is everything we have about your account. And the customer reviews that, they get that information. If there are questions, you can go back and forth about it there on the tool and on the platform. But it gets everybody kind of on the same page. And there's eliminating that guesswork that can happen, or miscommunications, or those kinds of things. So again, that helps to streamline the process, but it also makes it just gives a better experience for the users who are making a payment, to be clear about exactly what they owe, when they owe it, what their options for payment are, and then to utilize things like setting themselves up for auto pay. Maybe they just want their credit card charged at the due date every single month, so they don't have to think about it. If those things are convenient, it can help users to take advantage of some of those tools. So again, I think it's not only such a great tool for the folks who are doing the invoicing, but also for their customers, because they get a real benefit from having that transparency and being given options for how they make payments, and storing payment information so that they can do recurring payments in the future a lot easier. So we really also view this as an improvement in the overall customer experience. Like, customer experience doesn't end at sales. It doesn't end at shipping something on time. It ends at, it's a thread that goes throughout the entire relationship, and hopefully that's all the way through the AR process, and then them to reordering again, and you issuing another invoice, and just continuing that great customer service all the way through.
Great. Okay, so speaking about our customers, your customers, is there a certain I mean, I can see the benefit obviously across, regardless if you're a tiny mom and pop shop that wants to accept credit cards, all the way through to a team of dozens of accounts payable or accounts receivable people. Is there a sweet spot you find in terms of like what most of your customers look like, or is it across the board, all different sizes?
Yeah, that's a great question. And what's nice is that with the scalability of our platform, we really can serve all customer types depending on the jobs that they have. Again, if you are a small mom and pop and really you are just accepting credit cards with telephone calls in, et cetera, our ChargeLogic solution is really great for you. It's priced right, and it's really based on, we can help you optimize your credit card processing and allow you to accept digital forms of payment in ways that you haven't before. Pretty easy to get in there. All the way scaling to, we have customers like Carrier and Orkin and Pepsi, and so we can go all the way up into the low enterprise level customers here as well. For the Versapay platform itself, right, with this automation work that we're providing, what we're really doing is we're taking manual processes out of companies' AR department, right? And those processes are invoicing, where you send lots of paper, and you're issuing and making sure that those things get to your customer. It's cash application. So once you get paid, what did I just get paid for? I got a check. I don't know what it's for, et cetera. So what we tend to find the sweet spot for the Versapay platform is 1,000 or more invoices a month. That's where we can really start by presenting those digitally and giving you insight into your customers receiving those, and by the way, working inside them. You can even see their interaction with your invoices, to your customer really choosing what they're paying, and that gets sent back to our platform and back to the ERP. Cash application happens automatically. Another place where you save labor in your AR process. So we really see the returns starting at about 1,000 invoices a month, and then it just scales from there.
Great. Steve, are you done with your questions, or should I continue? I guess because
Well, you just always
I've
ask
got
great questions, Jeff. I don't know. So
well,
you're on a roll, buddy. Keep going.
okay, all right. So I guess another so I think a lot of the feedback we get from our listeners in terms of these sorts of episodes is where they want to find out, like, again, is this something that's right for me? How do we tell and that it's right for you? And I think you mentioned process is an important differentiator here to determine if maybe Versapay can help save them some money, save them some time, maybe reduce adding people. But from the perspective of as we implement as a partner working with you, how do these implementations go? If, let's say, someone comes to us and we always like to pride ourselves on doing appropriate discovery with our clients. So we've got, a customer that says, hey, my AR is a mess and I need some help. How do we, because your product offering is so broad, how do we help determine what is there some return on investment number calculator that we can work with, or how do we help figure out where we should start with the Versapay solution?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got regional partner managers that work with your company and other partners in the channel, right? So the best first resource, if there's ever a question, is to contact your regional partner manager, and they can help think through the problems, right? What we usually do as we talk with customers is we try to decide which of our solutions make the most sense, right? The sort of winnowing questions that we'll ask them is, one, are you B2B or B2C? Right? If you're B2C, and your ChargeLogic's probably the place where we can do some help for you. If you're B2B and you're extending terms to customers and you're over that 1,000 invoices a month, the Versapay platform is probably the where we can save you the most money, right? And that tends to be a bit verticalized, right? So again, if you think of, retail's not going to look like that, right? They're not going to have invoices. That's a B2C thing. But if you think about manufacturing or wholesale distribution, professional services like a law firm or an accounting firm, transportation services like trucking companies, et cetera. Very invoice heavy, very high number of customers, lots of transactions happening, lots of paper flying around. What's always surprising to me as we go into discovery calls with customers is how little of the marketplace has actually grabbed onto automation in this part of their business. We recently we worked with one of the larger consulting firms just to understand how much of this has happened in the market so far. Their belief is it's about a $15 billion a year opportunity for AR automation in North America, and only about 500 million of that's been vended so far, which means about 14.5 billion of that is people running old manual processes. They're very painful processes, and you'd be surprised at the big companies that we run into that have almost no automation in that at all. How much labor we can save them from doing mundane tasks and being able to apply to much higher return work inside their finance departments.
Well, Steve, we probably shouldn't let Michaela or Brian from our team hear this, because although I know we do have some automation, I bet we are at the point where we could benefit from more. So another question I have is sort of, who is your competition in this space, and how do you match up to them?
Yeah, so I mean, in the AR automation space, you'll hear three names regularly. You'll hear us, you'll hear HighRadius, you'll hear Billtrust, and there are some other companies out there that are doing some of the same things. Really, what makes us unique is this collaborative platform, right? So there's two ways to think about solving this problem. You can kind of deploy point solutions against different flows in this problem. So you can say, I'm going to give somebody a tool to improve credit and collections by focusing just on credit and collections. I'm going to give somebody a tool for cash application when I get these checks and I don't know what they're for. I'll give them a tool for that. We're really thinking all the way across this invoice to cash process with our collaborative platform. So when we make it easier for your customer to see what they owe and pay you, that improves cash application, that improves collections, that improves the speed of you getting your money. So that's sort of our unique special sauce, is the collaboration that we create inside this platform, where we collapse these two processes into one shared process. That's what's unique about us.
Gotcha. All right. You sold me. What about you, Steve? Are you ready to buy?
Well, I'm still in shock of the market, because you think of, you got Sally in a county that's been sending out invoices for 35 years, and she finally retires.
Yeah,
Hey, we
exactly.
can automate this, right? And
I can't tell you how often we hear that exact story. Companies call us in panic because that's exactly how they've been running it forever.
Yeah, and I think another kind of piece to jump on that is that, that's a scenario. Somebody retires, and it's probably maybe somebody who's been doing this work for a long time, has a lot of historical, institutional knowledge, and it's really hard to replace that, because sometimes you have customers who have specific requests. They only like to get invoices this way, or they only kind of make their payments that way, and somebody just learns this and gets to know it. But I think we also hear from customers that they have folks who are dedicated to these manual processes that could and should be contributing to the company in some other higher functioning way, or some other maybe work that's more rewarding, or more around problem solving, or building customer relationships through this process, but they can't do it because they're bogged down with these manual processes. So, hopefully it helps people in those situations where, yes, someone's retired and they're not sure they want to refill this position. They want to figure out, can they automate this? But also in those companies that might have staff that they really value and want to keep on, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to reduce headcount. That might be able to them finding ways that they contribute in better ways to the bottom line of the organization.
Absolutely.
so for our clients that are interested, do you have on your website any type of like training or videos, like they can kind of get a taste of it and see, or maybe you can tell us a little bit about your resources?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Versapay.com, we've got our whole story laid out, and there are certainly videos and other short form things that explain a little bit more about the how behind our what. It's also a place where you can connect with my sales teams, and we'd be happy to have a conversation with you and take you through a longer demonstration. Again, with everything our platform does, we like to have a conversation and really understand your business. So we're showing you the things that are really contributive to driving productivity with you. And so Versapay.com, we'd love you to visit, and we'd be happy to have a conversation.
Yeah. And I should point out that the OldChargeLogic.com is still around. Our story here at Versapay is that we've brought together several companies together now underneath the Versapay brand, including what a lot of folks know in the channel as ChargeLogic Payments, which we've been around for over 10 years. We've really unified. We spent the last year really unifying all of our technology, so it's really exciting. We have this fantastic connector to the ARC platform, and you'll see that we have now this kind of path to this full AR automation that Tim was talking about, where we can deliver anything from as simple as an email invoice or a customer portal, all through the Versapay AR platform. So that platform is delivering it, and you kind of choose your flavor or your level, which is a change from us. Our if you're familiar with ChargeLogic, we had our Connect service, and so we're replacing that through as a more unified kind of product offering. Not that Connect is going anywhere. I don't want to scare any customers out there. We have no plans to deprecate Connect, but for our customers moving forward, it does mean that they have this, I think, really nice kind of path towards the AR transformation where they can start small and build as they go. But to that end, I also just wanted to mention we still have our ChargeLogic website out there. We have support pages. We've added a whole section on our Versapay integration. So we have support documentation, and we go into more depth about the integration with that cloud platform and how that works. So customers can definitely dig in there. You'll probably see over the course of 2022, as we further brand unify, that website will probably migrate to the Versapay website, but for now it's still there. It's still a resource, and those resources will eventually get migrated all under the Versapay website as well.
And it does sound like you're growing. I was at Summit in Houston back in October, a little warmer down there in Texas.
Yeah.
And you guys had a large showing there, and I think that speaks to, we're big on education and helping our clients, and to point them in the direction to, hey, here's you need some help, here's some places to go. And I think that's great that you guys are aligning that, being on the podcast and being out there in the channel. I don't know, are you guys coming to our customer conference in May in South Bend?
I think we're signed up. Yeah.
Without question. And thanks for mentioning, sort of our growth path there, Steve. It is true, right? We've gone from a couple of hundred employees at the beginning of this year to well over 400 employees now. I mean, I'd call us in meteoric growth mode right now. And
that's where all the employees are going. Like
exactly. That's why no one else can find anyone to hire. And we got them all. But hey, listen, I know we've caught. Sometimes when you're in that growth mode, sometimes it causes hiccups for customers. Like, we are not in any way deaf to the fact that sometimes we didn't manage this transition of combining these four companies well, right? And I'd really like your listeners to understand the things that we're doing to make that very different as we move forward. Just a couple of things. We've just brought in a leader, Chris Fudge, to run our support area. That he came from Intuit, and he was running care groups at Intuit, obviously a pretty successful company that is known to be customer obsessed and known to deliver a great customer support experience. So we brought Chris in to help lead those teams, and we're really doubling down, as Meredith said, on improving the platform itself so that there's less support that's necessary, adding a bunch of butts in seats, as we like to say, right, with this hiring, so that when customers call, we've got somebody that can answer the phone for them. We've doubled our care organization in the last year. And then lastly, very importantly, expanded our partner team so that we can really help train your teams and other partner teams to also be a place where customers can turn for different tiered support depending on what they need. And we haven't had a robust partner team here before. Now we have 15 people on it, and it's continuing to grow. So we can arm you as the first place that customers can go if they have simple questions as well. And so we're making lots of investments here. Our goal is to do better for all customers and partners in 2022.
Yeah, we know there were some hiccups, and that happens with mergers. To be quite frank, when you're bringing a bunch of different companies together, everybody had their own way of operating previously, and now we're trying to kind of mush together and operate. And frankly, it's an opportunity for balls to get dropped. And I know that there were some customers out there who may have had a less than stellar experience, early on through this transition. I think we've done so much work over the last year to really unify our teams. And as Tim said, bring in some really fantastic leadership who has more experience, operating larger teams like this and really delivering superior customer experiences. I think we're really starting to see a big turnaround there as far as our improvement in customer experience. And I'm really looking forward to what 2022 brings, not only from a technology perspective, but just, across the organization and what we can deliver to customers together.
That's great to hear, your investment in resources for that part of the business, because, it's just the whole, everywhere you go, the restaurants, we'll go to restaurants and you can't even get a seat because there's no one. You got to go through the drive-through, right? I don't know where all these people disappeared to.
our customer care group, Steve. That's the answer.
Yeah, that's where they're at, Jeff. Right? Yeah, nice. So where are you guys based out of?
So we're Toronto, headquarters in Toronto, but as we put these companies together, we've got quite a few folks in Ohio. Atlanta is sort of a southern second corporate headquarters for us. And we're at this point in time, I think, like most folks, are mostly virtual, spread around the country at this point in time. We've not returned back to our offices in bulk yet. So you get to see like my beautiful white wall behind me from my WeWork office, and Meredith is working from home as well.
Nice. I do think Jeff made a road trip to Toronto. Beautiful city.
I agree. Yes. I still haven't, this all happened. The merger happened, I guess, Versapay kind of showed up in our ChargeLogic office, and it was February. And then, March, we all shut down. And so I haven't really, most of the folks I work with, we haven't really had an opportunity to meet, and I haven't been to Toronto, but I'm really looking forward to being able to get up there. It's a lovely destination for sure.
You're in Baltimore, correct, Meredith?
Yeah, I'm in Baltimore. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we still have a nice little kind of cohort of Baltimore folks here that are centered around our Microsoft products. So yeah, it's nice.
Jeff, any other questions for you?
Let's see. Well, seeing as we are nearing year end, I would just ask what you think. What is 2022 going to bring for Versapay, for your customers, and for the channel? Have any insight into the future for us? I see that Tim and Meredith are both waiting to see who answers.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up, and I'm really excited because this year we spent, as Tim mentioned, a lot of time and energy kind of really unifying our technology stack. And sometimes when companies go through mergers like this, and you look at their technology, it takes years, if ever, that they can really bring everything together. And so within the last year, we have like fully unified our technology stack, and that development work is done really on the Microsoft side. We're still working on some of our other embedded ERPs, but we're really starting to roll that out. We're going to see the first kind of customers come through that. So I'm really excited for that to become kind of our just, how we're selling and servicing and talking to our clients about this unified Versapay experience, and giving them the opportunity to really choose how they want to embrace their AR automation and start that. We keep talking about, automating. For some people, they're like, geez, I haven't even upgraded my ERP. Am I ready for a full, AR automation, revolution here in my company? That's a big thing to bite off. And so I really am excited about having the opportunity to just kind of give customers, here, let's start small and let's build on that as you grow, or your needs change, or you're ready to adopt some new processes. So I'm really excited to see that off the ground. And we're continuing to perfect our PayFac, being a payment facilitator, which really gives us the full control of onboarding our customers through the merchant onboarding process and doing the payment processing. A lot of times when we were in ISO, we're reselling first data accounts. We're still relying a lot on first data to do some of that customer facing work. This puts us really in the driver's seat and in control of that entire customer experience. So I'm really looking forward to that becoming, again, just part of the norm, streamlining the sales process and getting customers up and running into value a lot more quickly than we were in the past few years.
Yeah, and also, we really want to meet Microsoft customers where they are, wherever they are in their ERP journey. And so, while we have these native embedded solutions specific to Business Central, we just built our first connector for FNSCM right at the enterprise level, and we're boarding our first customers there. And bluntly, we're focusing on Great Plains as well. The old, we really want to make sure that there's 38,000, I think, at last count, folks sitting in platforms where they're not moving their ERP anytime soon, and they need this kind of automation as well. And the great thing about our platform is it is ERP agnostic. Well, obviously we're partnered with Microsoft in the areas where they want people to move to the cloud, and we want to help people move to the cloud. And it's easier and a better experience when you're in the cloud. We want to reach out to all Microsoft businesses and provide this opportunity for them and be part of their education and movement into the cloud. If it's not ERP first, then it can be our platform to help them sort of embrace what's good with the cloud and help them see the benefits of embracing cloud technologies.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's it for me, Steve. I'm out of questions.
It's a great conversation, guys.
Yeah, it was great.
Yes, awesome. Thanks for having us.
We appreciate our partnership with Versapay, and excited that you guys are coming to our customer conference in May, which is going to be May 4th and 5th at Notre Dame. We're expecting about 200 to 300 folks to come to the customer conference. So I'm sure they'll come and have questions. And if you do reach out to Versapay because of the podcast, let them know you heard it on the Innovia Conversation. And if you have questions about it, please reach out to your customer engagement specialist. If you're not a client of Innovia, you can reach out to Jeff or I, or reach out to them directly. Please let them know that you heard it here. And guys, we appreciate it. And this podcast is over.